Hey, what's up, Danna and David? Danna, hey, so sorry I couldn't meet you in person when David and I had a chance to grab breakfast the other day. I wanted to record this video just so you have a face to go with a name and some of the ministry information that I sent with David. I know it's no small thing to invest in someone financially and a ministry financially. And so I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't just a lot of information on paper, but that you had somebody who could at least explain it, even if not in person, a little bit like this over video. So David and I got to know each other, Danna, through Wheaton's grad school. Awesome to hear that he's wrapping up his degree after all the craziness that you guys have been through in the last few years of moving and traveling and job changes and everything else. But we got to know each other through that. It was great to reconnect with you, David. A couple weeks ago, I don't know, 10 days ago, something like that, over breakfast at Eclectic there in Wheaton. You know, Danna, my wife, Kaylee, and I, we've got our first son was born about 3 months ago, so if I look a little tired, forgive me. But we are getting ready to move next month down to Frisco, Texas to start a new church. And Frisco is the third fastest growing city in America. It had 30,000 people 15 years ago. Now it's got 150,000. It's crazy. 15,000 people a year move into Frisco. And so it's a really amazing environment to be doing ministry in. It's an area where there's a huge need for new churches. There's a huge need for more gospel witness in the area. And, you know, I don't want to go over all the details of the church because you can read about that on our website, liftfrisco.org. David's got some information from us as well you guys can look over. But just to give you a little more of our heart and why we're doing this, you know, we both really are in a season of transition. I know you guys have been through a lot of transition recently. David and I were talking about that a little bit, and it's a similar season for us where we just had this kid, and at the same time we're having our baby. My job currently, I've been pastoring an established church here in Chicago, has been wrapping up. So all at once, my job was ending. We were having a new baby. We were trying to figure out what was next. And through a series of really cool events, God really laid on our hearts to consider starting a new church and going into church planting. And church planting is an amazing opportunity to reach new people for Christ. And nothing reaches new people for Christ like new churches. So that's the big reason we're excited to do it. There's a statistic in the packet I gave to David we were talking about. In established churches in the Southern Baptist Convention, we're not Southern Baptist, but they measure things really well. And they're established churches that are over 10 years old. There's only one baptism for every 51 members. So a church of 200 people, you're going to see about 4 baptisms every year. But in their church plants, in their new churches, it's a ratio of 1 to 13. So for every 13 members, there's a baptism. So I really believe that it's true that nothing reaches new people for Christ like new churches. You know, David and I were talking a little bit about you guys have a real desire to support lower income areas, and you have a desire to invest in ministries that are doing a lot of outreach and work with the least of these and with poorer communities. And so Frisco, just to be honest with you, is not that kind of city. It's a wealthier city. But I was sharing with David my vision for it is we see Frisco as a home base, and I really believe that if you can transform the lives of people who are just wildly gifted in terms of what God's entrusted them with financially, you have a huge opportunity to bless the less fortunate. You have a huge opportunity to bless those who haven't been entrusted with as many of those resources. So that's our vision for the church. Is we're not going to a rich area because we want to join the country club and just enjoy the upper middle class lifestyle. We want to go there to be missionaries. Is really how we see ourselves to really, and I pray about this often, to see the city transform so that all these resources, all this wealth, all this business knowledge that the people of Frisco, Texas have could be used for the kingdom of God and could be used to bless people who haven't had access to those kind of opportunities. So we're going to be a giving church from day one. 10% minimum of our budget every year is going to be going straight to local and global missions. So that's going to look like our vision for kind of local support is instead of competing with the local charities that are doing things, we want to partner with them. So I've already been in touch with Frisco's. They've got kind of an all-in-one building that has their food bank. A lot of their family resources are there. So we've already been in touch with them a little bit, trying to establish a relationship, getting to know them, to try to figure out, hey, how can we partner with you guys? So anyway, I just mentioned that because certainly totally value where you guys are sending your money now and love that vision of supporting the least of these. It's obviously a really biblical vision, and don't want to talk you out of that, but did want to share honestly, and I was sharing that with David too, that we see that as being an important part of our church as well, that we can transform a city and take the resources that are just kind of sitting parked there in Frisco and send them out. And that's how we see our church as a multiplying church. We want to be a church that actually starts a new church within the first 5 years of our existence or a second campus, and then every 3 years after that. So we're just going to keep multiplying churches all around the Dallas Metroplex just to really saturate the city with the good news of Jesus. So anyway, you can read all about this again in the materials I sent David on our website. I do want to share with you, Danna, I loved hearing stories about your hustle. Sounds like you're a hustler. David was telling me about sleeping in your office and crazy stuff like that. And I just want you to know, I respect that. I admire that. I know that you work hard for your resources, and I never want to ask somebody for financial support lightly, but I want you to know we're hustling as well. And we are really giving everything we've got to this vision that God's put on our hearts. It's why, just this week we've had 5 different appointments at night, just trying to grab dinners with people, share the vision with them. So I want you to know you're a hard worker, and I wish I could show you this in person, but I promise you nobody's going to work harder than I will to see this vision come to pass that God's put on our hearts. So anyway, just a short little introduction to us, and if I was smart, I would have had the baby here to use him as a little bit of a prop and help me out and get him cooing at you, but he's upstairs right now napping. But anyway, hey, maybe we can meet in person one day. That'd be awesome. David, thank you again for your time at Eclectic, man. Danna, God's blessings on you guys. We are praying for you. David shared some prayer requests and have continued to keep you guys in prayer, my wife and I, and we would love to bring you on our team at Lift Frisco. And David's got the financial support chart of how we're building a financial team. So I think my ask, David, if I remember, was that you guys would consider being level 2 partners with us. So that's what I'd love to see if you consider is a level 2 partnership with us. It's a 1-year commitment. It won't be more than 1 year unless you hear from me. You might at the end of the year to say, will you do another year? But it's only a 1-year commitment. It's not an unending commitment. And we'd love to have you guys on our team. So anyway, again, Grant, Danna, nice to meet you, at least electronically. And David, thanks again for breakfast the other week, man. See you guys.